In this lesson, we're going to learn how to find the areas of circles and sectors of circles. All right, the basic formula to find the area of a circle is equal to pi times the square of the radius. Remember, pi we generally refer to as 3.14. All right, pi is 3.14, and the radius goes from the center out to the outside edge of a circle. So pi times the radius squared is what gives you the area of a circle. Now, to find the area of a sector of a circle, you basically take your area of a sector. To find the ratio of the area of a sector to the area of the whole circle is equal to the ratio of the degree measure of the intercepted arc x to 360 degrees. Okay, so basically what that basically means is that if you take your area of the circle, so area is equal to x, right, which is your degree measure here, over 360 times the area of a circle. Okay, this part right here is the part that you probably are not familiar with at this point. This is just simply, this measure, the degree measure here, and you've already learned that, or you may have already learned that this degree measure here is also the same as the degrees in the complete circle of 360. All right, so let's do several examples, and I think you'll understand what we're talking about. Okay, so find the area of the circle. Well, here it's the area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Now it's easy to there's a couple different ways to find pi. All calculators have a pi button on it. For the sake of our class and its simplicity, we just use 3.14, okay, which is an approximation, times the radius, which is 5 squared, all right, which gives us 3.14 times 25, all right. When we do that, 3.14 times 25, we end up with 78.5. So the area of this particular circle is 78.5 square inches. Okay? Find the area of this circle. Now the difference between this previous circle and this circle is that in this circle we're given the diameter, which is the line all the way across. And we know that the radius is half of the diameter. So it's half of 11. So we're going to say 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So the radius is 5.5. All right, so we got area is equal to pi times the radius squared, which is 3.14 times 5.5 squared is 30.25. And when we multiply those, 30.25 times 3.14, we end up with 94.985. Okay. Square feet. Okay. All right. Here it says the area of a circle is 153.9 square centimeters, and it wants us to find the diameter. Right. So area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Okay. So we're going to say 153.9 is equal to 3.14 times the radius squared. All right. It says for that we want to find the diameter. Well, we know that the diameter is twice the radius, so that we have to initially find the radius and then just double it. Okay. So this is multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by 3.14. That cancels out. 153.9 divided by 3.14. End up with 49.0129. So we're going to say 49.0 is equal to the radius squared. All right, we're just approximating, coming to a close approximation here. And then we're going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, so the radius we find is going to be 7. So if the radius is 7, that means that the diameter is twice that. So 2 times 7 is equal to the diameter, which is 14. So the diameter is 14 in this case. All right. Here's another problem like that, except it just wants us to find the radius. Okay. So we end up with area is pi times the radius squared. So 907.9 is equal to 3.14 times the radius squared. Divide by 3.14 on both sides. 907.9 divided by 3.14 is 289.1. I'm just going to round that off to 289. It's equal to the radius squared. We take the square root of 289, we end up with 17 is equal to the radius. Okay? So the radius is 17. All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about finding the sectors. All right. If we look here, find the area of the shaded sector of the circle. If you remember, the sector area is equal to x over 360 times pi times the radius squared. Okay. So x here is 45. So we end up with 45 over 360 times 3.14 times the radius is 3. So that's 3 squared. We divide 45 divided by 360. 0.125 times 3.14 times 9. All right, when we do all that math, 0.125 times 3.14 times 9, we end up finding that the area of the sector is 3.5325 square feet. Okay? All right. Next one, find the area of the shaded sector of the circle. Well, once again, this is the shaded part here is the most of the circle, and it gives us the angle of the non-shaded part. Okay, so there's two different ways that we could do this. We could either take 360 minus 36. That gives us the area of the big sector. I mean the degree of the big sector, or we can find the area of the big circle, and find the area of the sector and subtract them. Well, I think it's easier to subtract the 360 minus 36. So that's 324. So we know the distance all the way around here is 324. So sector area is x over 360 times the area of the entire circle, pi times radius squared. Okay, well, here the x is 324 over 360 times 3.14 times 10 squared. Okay, 324 divided by 360 is equal to 0.9 times 3.14 times 100, which is 10 squared. Okay, so 0.9 times 3.14 times 100 gives us 282.6. So the area of the shaded part is 282.6 square meters. All right. The last problem or example that we're going to do just is a word problem. It says, for a party Samantha wants to have finger sandwiches. She cuts the sandwiches into circles, and then if she cuts each circle into 3 congruent pieces, what's the area of each piece? So basically, the easiest thing to do here is we know that it's 3 congruent parts, and using the method that we're talking, 360 divided by 3 is 120, okay? So 120 degrees. So sector area is equal to 120 over 360. Well, here, let me write the basic formula down first. Okay, sector area is equal to x over 360 times pi times the radius squared. Okay, when we do that, we end up with 120 over 360 times 3.14 times 2.5 squared. All right, so 120 divided by 360 is 0.33 times 3.14 times 2.5 squared is 6.25. So when we multiply all that together, so we can see that 0.33 times 3.14 times 6.25 is equal to 6.47625. 6.47625 inches squared. The other way that we could have done this, we could have said this is a third, so we could have found the area of the whole circle and divided by 3. So we could have said 3.14 times 6.25 divided by 3. And when we do that, we end up with 19.625 divided by 3. And we end up with 6.54167. Okay, so both of those round off to roughly 6.5 square inches. Okay? The difference is that, remember, 3.14 is an approximation. This is actually 1/3, so that's an approximation. So this is all round off errors. Okay? So, but when we look at, if we round to the nearest tenth, both of these are approximately 6.5. All right? So that does it for this lesson. Make sure that you've copied down all the notes. Make sure you ask questions if you don't understand something. We'll talk to y'all later.